Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're gonna have a discussion about the 10 small details I want to see in Spider-Man PS4. Now, this game for me is easily the most anticipated game for 2018, and I've dreamt for this type of game for so long, ever since I was like a kid and played Spider-Man Friends or Foe or something like that. I always dreamt about something like this, and now it's coming true. So I like to make my list about what I want to see in terms of like small details, not just anything major. So let's start with the list. Now, first on the list is how physics plays a role throughout gameplay. Now, I'm basing this off of movies that I've seen, and easily the Amazing Spider-Man movies, especially in the beginning sequences of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, like the way the web line would snap after he hit the bottom of his swing and he would come back, and like the way he would free fall in the air after that one swing. It actually shows kind of a difference from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and I haven't even noticed this, but in the Sam Raimi movies, not that I'm saying that it has a lack of physics, but when Spider-Man would swing, it looked just too perfect. It looked too perfect, and it doesn't look like there was any force behind anything. It just looked like he was flying through the city. But yeah, if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, I suggest you go back and look at those clips where they would swing, and you can see the obvious differences behind the physics in both movies. So I obviously want the Amazing Spider-Man physics implemented in this game, but Insomniac and Marvel already confirmed that physics will have a role in the game. But me personally, I would like to see like the snapbacks, the amount of force every swing has. Like, that's what I'm looking for in this particular game. So number 2 on my list is to when we're playing as Spider-Man and when we're on just a random rooftop, having the choice to point out where to shoot our next web line, similar to like the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, where Peter was just figured out how to shoot his webs from his wrist. So maybe in this game, what they can do is just, since we had a glimpse of the first-person web shooting at the end of the E3 2017 demo, maybe just have a first-person moment where Spider-Man just points out his wrist, and we can just choose wherever to throw the web line at. And again, similar to the first Spider-Man movie in the Sam Raimi series, just have us hold that web line and just run anywhere with it and just throw ourselves from the building holding that same web line. We could throw ourselves farther and stretching that web line, or closer and not making a full complete swing, because your web line was so long, and throwing yourself closer wouldn't let you make that complete swing. It'll just snap the web line and you wouldn't go anywhere, as opposed to throwing yourself farther from the building and then making that complete swing and then continuing with your web swinging gameplay. So number 3 on my list is fighting bosses or sub-bosses in the city. Now, the only part I liked about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game was the boss fight with Electro. I liked how you could be able to fight him throughout the whole city and not just be restricted in a small space or just a staged arena for the both of you to fight. Well, that's not particularly a small detail, but what is a small detail is having to deal with saving the civilians in the crossfire. Like, now Insomniac mentioned that there are about 9 million pedestrians in New York City, and I would like to see them take advantage of that, having us fight the actual boss, and having to deal with keeping the civilians unharmed. You know, I would like to kind of see consequences, like dealing with somebody's loss or something like that during the boss fight, and then they would show that in the news or something in the game, and have Peter Parker just like like react to it or Spider-Man react to it. You know, that's one of the things I would like to see in this game. All right, so number 4 on my list is to be able to show off Spider-Man's strength in the game, not just in cutscenes like this scene right here, holding a freaking crane. Like, damn, that's crazy. No, I want to see like free roam gameplay and having like Spider-Man just show off his strength. Like he can punch a freaking hole in the chimneys or something like that, similar to like Web of Shadows. Web of Shadows did a great job showing Spider-Man's strength in just a free roam. It's not just the cutscenes. Like I want to be able to have the freedom to just punch a parked car and have that like car go flying, or just to the very least like show a dent in that car. But yeah, showing that kind of detail off will just further the immersion of the whole game. And in terms of immersion, number 5 is actually interacting with the city itself. You know, having us go up to a hot dog stand as Spider-Man and just buy a hot dog from there, or go to different restaurants or something like that as Spider-Man and have the people react to him and like show how awkward it would be to just see this guy that you see on television or something just eating at your restaurant or at your local hot dog stand. Like that would be really cool. And also just taking selfies with the crowd, you know, like what game doesn't have selfies? You know, like GTA had it, Watch Dogs 2 had it. So like Spider-Man, like come on, like, I would kind of like to see just interacting with the people, having to take pictures with them. Stuff like it's small things like that that makes one appreciate the game more. So number 6 is pretty much everybody's request with this game, and you know, which is running into an alleyway as Peter and changing into Spider-Man. But this time, you are interacting with the way he changes or the speed and he changes. Like let's say you're walking around. Hopefully, they allow this, but you're walking around the city as Peter, and you see something bad happening, like a cop car chase or something like that, or somebody getting robbed and the guy's running away. Like you want to run into an alleyway as Peter and change into Spider-Man, but this time there would be, you know, button prompts, and the speed in which he changes into his clothes depends solely on you. You know, giving the crook kind of a head start in trying to get away, and then you just swoop in as Spider-Man, you know, trying to get the guy as quickly as possible, you know, not letting him get away, that kind of thing. You don't know me. So number 7 in my list is in the game as Spider-Man. You know, as you play as Spider-Man throughout the game, he gets tired because of real game time. You know, like if you play for him for too long and the days are passing by, you know, kind of show that, you know, he's tired and he needs his sleep, and just like show that within the gameplay, the free roaming, you know, just having him not exert as much force as he would when he would swing. You know, he's kind of tired, he would let himself free fall even more, and you know, the kind of laziness in his swinging, I would kind of like to see that, and in his fighting styles too. You know, I mean, I could see how it would be an inconvenience to the player while he's playing. Like not every player wants to see him getting tired and just play like that throughout the game, but show the immersion of the game, and like you're actually Spider-Man, you have to deal with these kind of small things, and you know, just that would be great if I could see that in the game. So in my 8th point, I would like to see destructible environments, like such as when fighting bosses throughout the city. I would like, you know, to see Spider-Man get smacked into a wall and have the wall break. You know, I like to see things get affected, like, you know, smacking the boss into a car and that car having a huge dent or being broken in half or something like that, you know. And having things like food markets in the game, you know, being thrown into one and just breaking everything, like a fruit food market, and then you would just see like watermelons being rolling around after just the food cart being destroyed, you know, stuff like that I like to see. Now, my 9th point isn't exactly a small detail, it's something that the developers choose to do. I like to see alternative suits throughout the game, and you know, having like pinpoint accuracy within the suits. For me personally, I like to see the Spider-Man Homecoming suit, just because it was recently shown in theaters, and I thought it would look cool within like the game physics and the graphics of the game. So I think that they would into consideration the small details in suits, in alternate suits like that. So that's my 9th point. Going on to my 10th, which is whichever suit you're using, gets wrecked throughout your gameplay. Like if you're fighting a boss or something like that, and you guys are smashing each other through windows and like throwing cars at each other, I like to see like ripples within the suit, not just like a progression in the story type thing, like in the Batman Arkham series. Like his suit, the Batman suit would just be getting wrecked throughout the whole story. But no, I like to see this like within the gameplay, like while you're playing. Like if you just accidentally got beat up, I like the suit to be affected, and then having to go back to Peter's apartment to fix that suit. It shouldn't take that long. It should just be like a small loading screen or something like that, and then the suit would be brand new or fixed or whatever. But yeah, that's the kind of level of detail that I like to see in the game. So yeah, that was the top 10 small details I want to see in Spider-Man PS4. If you guys have any ideas in mind, then feel free to share it in the comment section below, and make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys later.